Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Master of None here. Today we are returning to Guild Wars 1, more specifically Guild Wars 1 Prophecies. What you might notice is that this account has just a couple of characters. I bought it specifically to do some Ironman challenges about 2 years ago. Now there are countless variations of an Ironman challenge and I haven't fully decided on all the rules yet, but I'll talk about them throughout the video and put them in the video description as well. I decided to create a ranger for a few reasons. I've done the challenge before on a mesmer, all the way through Prophecies, and even halfway through Kanta as well, and played about 12 hours on a necromancer. Mesmer was so much fun, but also it felt quite OP. Necromancer was pretty strong as well, with the minions, so I'm trying to up the difficulty just a little bit. I have a feeling that the ranger might be the sweet spot. We will have an animal companion which can maybe help take some aggro from us, but we don't get all the OP mesmer skills.
The last day dawns on the kingdom of Ascalon. It arrives with no fanfare, no tolling of alarms. Those who will remember will speak fondly of the warm morning breeze.
After character creation, we land in this beautiful town of pre-searing Ascalon. If you haven't played Guild Wars 1 and would buy it now, you'll probably notice that my UI is a little different. That's because GW1 had an extremely customizable UI built in, and you could pretty much resize and reorder anything. First thing I did was to check if there were any people here, so I switched my district to America, since that's the place where people still meet up these days. To my surprise, pre-searing was full of people. It just warms my heart that there are still people enjoying this game. After switching districts, someone actually just reached max level in the tutorial area. This takes quite a while and I've only done it once to get the title. And people started congratulating him. I don't know what it is, but it's so different going back to these older games where people actually talk to each other. Anyway, by switching district, I also noticed a quest in the back, so I went ahead and picked it up. Time to leave town and start my adventure. Pre-searing has such a calming vibe to it. The music, the colors. Even though it looks a bit dated, I think Guild Wars has aged quite well. I'm sure that's also the nostalgia talking. There's no avoiding that, so I'd rather embrace it. There is something special about early levels in MMOs, where you have no or only one skill learned and take forever to kill stuff. It should be boring, and it can be, but at the same time, it always puts me in this cozy, nostalgic vibe. A big part of it is that it makes finding new skills and leveling up feel that much more impactful, which I love. Speaking of skills, just after finishing the first quest, we learn 2 of them immediately. Troll Unguent, which gives us health regeneration, and Power Shot, a damaging bow ability. With our character being much stronger now, I pick up the next quest and follow the road to Ashford. The reason I'm not playing on my main account is mainly because of skill trainers. The most exciting part about Guild Wars to me is finding new skills. Throughout the world we'll find quests and meet NPCs that reward or sell us new skills. The problem is, when you have many of them unlocked, like on my main account, the NPC might also sell you skills that should not be available at that trainer. So by being on a more or less unplayed account, I don't have to go check the wiki every time we find a new NPC to make sure that I only buy the skills that I could otherwise. On my road to Ashford, I'm eagerly looking for an enemy to test out our new Power Shot. I feel a lot stronger already, and we only just unlocked a single damaging skill. I arrive in Ashford and pick up a bunch of other quests. There's also this one quest that always bugs out on me, where you have to lure some bees across the bridge. Nevertheless, I decided to give it one shot, and miraculously, it didn't bug out today. Last time I was here and gave it like 4 tries, and one of the bees would always get stuck on the bridge. The game plan for now is to just pick up any quests I see, although I don't know yet how many I'm actually going to do before leaving pre-searing. I definitely want to be on the lookout for any quests that give me more ranger skills, so that we can slowly fill up our action bar. This is actually the second time that I'm recording this gameplay, because I accidentally deleted all my footage of the prior run. The first time through, I was frantically running from collector to collector out in the world to see if they have anything useful, because of the second important rule of this challenge. I'm not allowed to buy any armor from armorsmiths. This means that we have to be on the lookout for any collectors out in the world to see if they sell any armor in exchange for farmable monster trophies. This rule alone makes the progression curve in Prophecies really smooth throughout the campaign, and it's the main reason why we don't do this in Factions or Nightfall. However, the armor upgrades in the tutorial were so incredibly minor that I probably won't bother with it. As soon as we leave this place though, every collector we find is going to be really important. To continue the main quest, we teleport back to Ascalon City, which levels up our character. This means we get to spend some attribute points, and you'll see me checking if I reach any breakpoint with our heal skill, where the regeneration jumps from 3 to 4. This is actually the case, so I level up Wilderness Survival to 2, and the remaining points I put into Marksmanship to increase our crit chance and the damage of Power Shot. Our next quest already has us choose a secondary profession, and this is where I want to let you guys actually decide what we are going to pick. We could also try a pure ranger playthrough instead, where we are not allowed to use any skills from the secondary profession. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer: warrior, monk, elementalist, necromancer, mesmer, or pure ranger. This NPC also tells us where we can unlock new skills for every profession, so I got told I could go into Regent Hills to find Master Ranger Nente. In the meantime, I got distracted by another quest, which was not easy to complete. The enemies were level 3 and we just don't have a lot of skills right now and not enough damage. Luckily, I increased the potency of Troll Unguent on the last level up, which kept me alive amazingly well. So half an hour later, we killed all of them, and one of the bandits even dropped the worm belt for us. This is one of the trophies I was talking about earlier, so I'll check what we can get with it shortly. The second group of enemies is a lot more dangerous though, because they contain fire starters, which shoot fireballs at you and do a lot of damage. The game plan here was to burst one of them down as fast as possible to reduce the amount of damage we take, stabilize, in other words run away, and then kill the last 2 enemies. Another worn belt and a blue bow. Super excited about that drop because we can use any damage increase we can get. It's still unidentified though, and we'll need to save up some more money for the identification kit. On the way to finishing the quest, I checked the worn belt collector and we could actually get some inventory slots from him. So I definitely want to hold on to these trophies. Then, back at the quest giver Devona, I want to pick up 2 new quests, but instead trigger an ongoing one. Okay, let's do that one as well. After that is done, we can finally focus again on the task at hand, finding Master Ranger Nente in Regent Valley. Taking the road south, like the NPC told me to do, we find him and get 2 new ranger skills. It's time to get our trusty animal companion. He doesn't seem to be great at hitting moving targets though. I had hoped that my animal can farm some devourers while I continue writing the script. In the meantime, we actually level up, and I was really curious to see if putting points into Beast Mastery would increase our companion's damage by a lot. And it did. I still don't think it's worth putting points into it at this point, since we don't have any skills that correlate with it, but we can decide on a build later on. At this point, I'm just looking to find one last carapace, because the collector next to Master Nente had a bow for sale, which does a lot more damage, even compared to our blue one. Even though the Melandrus Stalker seems to be terrible at actually hitting enemies, the DPS increase is still very noticeable, which makes farming these guys a little less painful. Nonetheless, It takes forever to get that last one, and I even had to load in and out of the zone for the enemies to respawn. In the end, it's all worth it though. A new bow, taking our measly 4 to 6 damage all the way up to a grand 7 to 10. The perfect end to the first episode. Next time we'll get our second profession and unlock the last couple ranger skills that we can find in the tutorial area. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next one.